while Charlie Rose has a 48-year broadcasting career vaporized in 24 hours. Penny Young-Nance is president of Concerned Women for America. She joins us. Penny, these are all liberal icons who are falling here, not just Charlie Rose, Kevin Spacey. That's like the coolest TV drama for liberals and progressives. Then you have Harvey Weinstein, the maker of all the upscale Oscar bait chick flicks. Is there a pattern one can discern here about supposedly the side of women and what they're actually like in private?
Well, look, I feel a little bit like we flipped on the light and we're watching the cockroaches scatter. And as miserable as this is and as uncomfortable, it's important to happen. We have to expose this in order to get rid of the moral decay. And honestly, Mark, this isn't just a Democrat issue. It's a Republican and a Democrat issue. And we've got to be honest about that. The EEOC estimates that, I think this is a high number, that 1 in 4 women have experienced sexual harassment in the workplace. Regardless of what the number is, it's horrific, and we have to be serious about it, and we've got to step forward and meet this head on and deal with it, because it's a heart issue. But I do have to say that I wonder 20 years ago if Patty Murray and Dianne Feinstein and Susan Collins had stepped forward and challenged Bill Clinton, if we would be further down the road. Well, because I think this process will work its way out. At the end of this, we will be better.
Well, to go back to what you were just saying there, in the 90s, we were explicitly told that character doesn't matter. The people said, who cares if this guy...
It's just about sex,
who cares if this guy is a pig? It's just about sex. Everybody does it. What's changed then?
Well, I think that there's a reckoning, because we have ignored this, and because we've ignored the decay, it's been allowed to flourish. And it's a serious issue. As a mother of a 20-year-old, I think all of us have to recognize we want better for our children. We thought the days of Mad Men were over. Some of us knew better, but it's not, and it's real. And I want my $14 million taxes that were paid out for congressmen to get paid back. I'd like to see them explain to their wives what happened to the money in their paychecks when it's garnished back to the American people. We have to take this seriously.
That seems to be pure Mad Men, in fact, where it's recognized that that male members of Congress are entitled to let their wandering hands wander where they may, and then the taxpayers will pay for it. But let me ask you about the broader liberal scene. I mean, some of these guys seem to have figured out that actually being a liberal progressive is a great way to meet vulnerable chicks and hit on them. I mean, basically, Harvey Weinstein seems to use all those classy movies with Meryl Streep and Judi Dench as cover for hitting on the broads who come into his orbit. The same thing I think you can say about Charlie Rose at PBS. I mean, in a sense, are they factoring, is that part of the business model? That's actually where you go to meet the kind of women you can prey on.
Well, I don't know why that they allowed Harvey Weinstein to be at the Women's March backstage with women that he had assaulted. I think that's absolutely outrageous. But we have to be honest that licentiousness cannot be ignored, whether it's in Hollywood, whether it's in journalism. And the next shoe to drop, mark my words, Mark, will be in the hollowed halls of academia. Oh yeah,
that's a whole world with all those college professors.
That is a ripe ground right there.
Penny, thanks for that. Nobody has been a bigger beneficiary of harassment hypocrisy than the Clinton dynasty. Last year, the message was that you were a sexist if you didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. There was a special place in hell for you. Now, in a belated act of remembering, people are recalling all the accusers that Clintons trashed to keep and to hold power.
Clinton needs to stop. She needs to stop talking about this topic unless Bill Clinton wants to come forward and apologize for being a sexual harasser, for settling with women.
Hillary Clinton hasn't been held accountable for her role. She refuses to answer questions of it, and I think that is the reason why she lost the 2016 election, because Donald Trump was able to throw that in her face, and she did not want to confront it.
Well, Richard Goodstein was a lawyer advising Hillary Clinton in 2008 and 2016. He joins us now. Richard, are you still aboard the Clinton train? There seem to be a lot of people jumping off after 20 years.
Mark, I'm just a little confused by your lead-in to the segment we just heard, where you said first there was Harvey Weinstein. You did forget the 16 accusers against Donald Trump, and then you said, and then there was Al Franken. That overlooked the 9 against Roy Moore, accusing, incidentally, of things much more than an unwanted kiss. Hands, fingers going places in Donald Trump's case that we can't even discuss on this network, right?
Hey, okay, Richard, let's if we want to do this, you can't tell the players without a scorecard. I agree with what Penny was saying. This is taxpayers' money that has gone to settle 200 cases in Congress. And I would like to know the names, and then we'll have a final score, Democrats and Republicans. Do you support the release of those names?
Absolutely. I think it is scandalous. I agree with what Penny said in many regards. She said it's not a Democratic or Republican problem. Couldn't agree more. I mean, the fact is, the litany of names, Bob Packwood and Mark Foley and Larry Craig, believe me, there are plenty of Republicans here. And there's no reason to recite them all, because we have to concede it's men doing bad things. Right. It has nothing to do with party.
Larry Craig played footsie in the Minneapolis airport men's room and didn't get any action for it. Mark Foley, he had a non-sex scandal where he was writing billet-doux to pages. That's very different from Bill Clinton. And Michelle Goldberg in the New York Times, she wrote a column, I Believe Juanita, published a couple of days ago, and she said, Bill Clinton no longer has a place in decent society. Do you agree with Michelle Goldberg?
You know, Ken Starr spent $70 million looking into Bill Clinton's transgressions, including talking to Kathleen Willey and Paula Jones and Juanita Broaddrick. And Juanita Broaddrick was found twice not to have testified truthfully, once under oath, once in a deposition. She denied having sexual contact. So, yes, I believe that. So
you don't find Juanita Broaddrick credible? You differ from
I'm saying when she was under oath, Mark, when she was under oath, it's one thing to trot her out to some press conference before a debate. When she was under oath and there were legal consequences for lying, she testified that she did not have sexual contact. So, yes, I believe that.
Well, look. Nobody's talking about lawsuits now. This is all past the statute of limitations in most of these cases, except for some of these recent fellas. But basically, Michelle Goldberg is writing in the New York Times that she believes a rapist was a 2-term president of the United States.
And what I'm saying is, I don't know why Michelle Goldberg would believe somebody who, under oath, twice denied having sexual contact with Bill Clinton. You'll have to ask Michelle Goldberg why she does. So you can call Bill Clinton anything you want. We know what Donald Trump has bragged about.
Well,
right?
maybe she believes her, Richard, because your candidate, Hillary Clinton, told us that you should always believe women.
Until the evidence shows contrary, right? That's what Hillary Clinton said.
I didn't hear that bit. She didn't say anything about the evidence showing contrary.
Go back and check the records. That's precisely what she said when she was asked about this. Time and time again, she said, yes, going in, women should be believed until there's evidence showing to the contrary.
Why do Mika Brzezinski and Michelle Goldberg and these other people who have been loyal to the Clintons for 25 years now want the Clintons to go away?
Well, first of all, I don't think they do want the Clintons to go away. And the fact is, Michelle Goldberg, in her more recent column, said she thought she had actually overreacted to all this.
No, she thought she'd overreacted to Al Franken.
That's true.
That's the guy who grabbed a lady's butt at the state fair.
There are plenty of people, and maybe Michelle Goldberg and Mika are part of them, who want the Clinton legacy to be forgotten for all the accomplishments that they had. For whatever reasons, you'll have to ask them. But the fact is, Democrats, by and large, are proud of the legacy that Bill and Hillary Clinton have left. And again, I'm waiting for this network and others to look at all the women who came out against Donald Trump a year ago, and that was just kind of swept under the rug.
But wait a minute. We were told in the Clinton era that character doesn't matter, that if you do a great job on welfare reform and taxes, that the fact that you're a pig in your private life doesn't matter. Why isn't what's source for the Democrats source for the Republicans too?
Again, Ken Starr spent $70 million looking into this, Mark. I'm waiting for a buck to be spent to look into the 16 women who came out against Donald Trump. When that happens, you and I'll be on the same page.
Okay, so you're like putting a price tag on these investigations. No,
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear that. Thank you, Richard. I'm glad
Thanks for having
you
me.
dropped by tonight.